program looks really great. I'm so glad you came with us. You're gonna do great things. I love you. Unbeknownst to me at the time, those would be the last words that I would ever say to my brother. My brother Casey was 19 years old when he died of a heroin overdose on September 11th, 2014. A graduate of William Annan Middle School and Ridge High School, my brother had been just beginning what will be known as the best chapter of his life. He scored an amazing internship at Affinity Federal Credit Union in his senior year of high school, and unbelievably was hired to work full-time upon graduation. He'd gotten his own apartment in Bridgewater and begun school at Brereton Valley Community College. My son, his nephew, Colton, had just been born 4 months earlier, and they could not have loved each other more. If there was ever a time in my life that my brother had everything in the world to live for, it was that September. If you asked my brother if he cared about his life, I think he would have given you a resounding yes. Unfortunately, all the while he was building this new life for himself, he was trying to keep demons buried deep in his closet that very few people even knew he had. Starting from the time my brother was in the 8th grade, he began experimenting with cigarettes, marijuana, and alcohol. As I've talked to friends of my brother who've experimented with drugs, many have an issue with calling weed or alcohol a gateway drug. They said they heard in middle school that they were so bad, but they'd already begun experimenting with those. They thought to themselves, if those aren't as bad as they say, if those haven't killed me yet, they're probably exaggerating about the rest of it. The problem is that for my brother, and so many other young people, marijuana and alcohol are in fact gateway drugs. They were opportunities for my brother to escape what he was feeling and fit in for the first time in his entire life. Over the next few years, his drug use escalated and he experimented with more drugs than I could probably name for you. But all the while, he was only searching for something that would take his pain away and make him feel important. 2 weeks before my brother passed away, he went to a get-together with some old friends from high school and bumped into some old classmates of his. Some of the kids he saw he was friends with, some of them had written him off years earlier, and some of them had even bullied him as far back as elementary school. Now, my brother wasn't the kind of kid to just call me out of the blue to chat, so when I saw his name pop up on my phone, I was wondering what it was that he could possibly want to tell me on a Saturday morning. He started telling me about the people that he saw and how he hadn't seen a lot of them in a long time. He told them about his apartment, about his job, about becoming class president at Hunterdon Prep, and about his dreams for the future. He told me excitedly about the reactions of people who had spent so long casting him aside. They were shocked at what he was doing. They asked him so many questions and told him how excited they were for him. My brother was so proud to have finally gained the respect of his peers that he had always wanted. It took my brother years and years, but what he had been searching for all along, that desire to feel important and connected, to feel worthy and accomplished, was never found in any drug or drink he ever consumed. He didn't find it at a rave or at a bar. He didn't find it chasing down the expectations of other people. My brother found his self-worth at the age of 19 when he reconnected with old childhood friends who had always adored him. When he held his nephew in his arms and made him giggle by singing him silly songs. He found it playing the guitar and writing new lyrics to share his heart. It was in his little brother's adoring eyes and in his big sister's pride and his determination. It was in his little apartment that he furnished himself and in the college classes people told him he would never take. It was at the job he always wanted where he could wear a suit and tie to work every day. So no, the marijuana, the alcohol, the cigarettes, the cocaine, the painkillers, and the heroin never gave my brother any of the things that he had been looking for. But unfortunately, by the time he found what he had been looking for, he had already enlisted himself in a lifelong war against addiction. And rather than the comfort, the confidence, the self-satisfaction that he was searching for, heroin would be the thing that took it all away from him. So here's the moral of the story. My brother and I both grew up here. We had heard lots of sad stories from nice people about why you shouldn't do drugs. It always felt so distant to me, like a problem I'd never really have to come face to face with. But the reality is that this is a crisis that is happening here in our sweet, beautiful, idyllic town. In 3 years, I have lost 3 friends and my brother to this terrible addiction. I want a different ending for all of you. Please, If you haven't used drugs or alcohol yet, I hope you'll remember me someday when you have the opportunity to start. And I hope remembering my face will remind you of the heartbreak that I live with every single day. And if you have used drugs or alcohol already, it's not too late. But I beg you to find someone you trust enough to confide in and get help today. You may not believe this, but things get better. And by the time they get better, I hope that you are all alive and healthy and addiction-free enough to see it. And just like I told my brother on that very last day, to each and every single one of you, I am so proud of you. You are going to do great things.